Hi, Dr. Joe Malassi. Thank you very much for giving us a bit of your time this afternoon, your time in Brazil, morning time here in Washington. My question to you now, at your at the COP summit, is there's a new movement or plan where farmers will be paid to protect rainforests across Central African countries in parts of Africa. Where do you stand on that? And tell me briefly about this important mechanism that is being rolled out.
Thank you very much, Mr. Journalist, for inviting me and giving me this opportunity to speak to our auditors uh, concerning the new mechanism that is, as you said, developing, which will bring into payment for environmental services that are rendered by farmers and by forest keepers, local communities, indigenous people. This mechanism is part of the two initiatives or strategies that were thought when first the world understood that deforestation is also a driver of climate change, driver of emission of CO2. And to solve deforestation, we had to put in place strategies that can stop deforestation. And paying or giving to farmers and to local communities that deforest for agriculture, that deforest for timber needs, that deforest for energy needs, that deforest for food, deforest for basic needs, for survival, giving to them some alternatives and some financial alternatives is really, really a big turnaround, a big progression into first in the comprehension, the understanding that the world has in the fact that forests are somewhere in the world, in Africa, in America, and in Indonesia, but forests are rendering services to everybody on the planet. And instead of observing our brothers, local communities deforesting for their basic needs, why not to provide for some of those needs? I'm sure we're not going to provide for 100% of the needs, but to provide for some of the needs so that we may together with them make of them not deforesters by necessity, but forest keepers by choice. Because most of them, even now, when you discuss with them, they ask a simple and basic question. You want us to stop deforestation, but we don't deforest for pleasure. We deforest for food. We deforest for basic needs, which we don't have. And if there may be some strategies of giving us these basic needs, we will get along with our life just as everybody does in town, in cities, in countries where there is no forest. So that's what the payment for environmental services are going to do. It's going to not to reward. I don't call it a reward because actually the amounts that are proposed are not, they don't deserve to be called a reward. But they are incentives. They are some kind of recognition. They are a message to say to those who deforest that please don't do this because we all need forest standing. And please take this and buy for your children the material that they need to go to school. Don't cut down the trees and sell the tree to get food for your children. Don't cut down tree because we need tree to breathe. We need tree to cool down the air. We need trees for climate change as a nature-based solution. So the payment are meant not to be a salary, not to be a reward, but it's to be a contribution to the effort that local population are going to do to stop from deforesting and to change ways of living.
All right, so Dr. Malassi, share the experience of regional engagement in the PES mechanism from your perspective.
My country, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, has started with several pilot projects with several organizations such as the WWF, and several other, One Acre Fund, and several others. I don't want to forget any, including the United Nations organizations, and all of them through CAFI, which is the Central African Forest Initiative, that basically served as a funding mechanism that allowed pilot projects to be rolled out across the country. So those pilot projects gave us a good information, a good response that whenever they were implemented, deforestation has gone very down. I don't have all the figures right now, but we can have emission, later on, and have all the figures and all the numbers. But what is sure is the information we got from pilot project are very positive, that people have stopped from deforesting and people have now engaged into agroecology, meaning that they are planting trees that can give them fruits, and the fruits they are going to organize a local economy around those fruits to sell them, to produce them, and to make for themselves living and to leave forest alone. So that is my country's experience. And this experience is over the last 10 years, which has shown very good results. And that's what gave us as a government the strength, and our partner, CAFE, that is our main partner in this journey, the strength to say that from this result, now we are ready to expand it across the country and across the region. Why not? And we had meetings with regional partners, with Cameroon, Congo, Brazzaville, Gabon, and Central Africa in January this year. And we all discussed about the payment for ecosystem services, and everybody was unanimous that this is the way to go, especially also because the payment for ecosystem or environmental services are not replacing the mechanism that exists, but they are additional to whatever is on the field now. So we think, and we are convinced that with a very good implementation of this strategy across the Congo Basin, we will certainly quicken and will have better results in terms of stopping deforestation toward 2030.
So, talk to me about the rollout. It appears that the rollout from the DRC government seems to be very positive. And what is the impact that you are seeing on the ground following the rollout?
Yeah, the rollout, as I said here, has given us very good results. Forest is resting now. People are no longer cutting down forests where the project is being implemented. We have more trees because people have learned by capacity building that they can grow trees that they need for energy themselves and cut them by the time they need them without touching the primary forest. And at the same time, people are growing trees, fruit trees, to generate income for themselves, not to go in the forest, cut down a tree because they need money to pay school of their children, but now they have an alternative economy. And that's the result that we had from pilot project. And from that result that we had, now we have built a system, which is an electronic system, an application that will be online. And that application is double because the first part of the application allows us to plan on the actual needs, financial needs that is needed to scale up the payments across the country. We have that instrument today, that tool. And secondly, we have a tool that allows us to manage properly any project that aims at ecosystem or environmental payment services. So those two inventions, those two new tools are going to reinforce the results that we already had without those tools in the past. So that makes us really think, and that convinces us that future of forests across the Congo Basin is going to be very positive, thanks to those initiatives, thanks to the fundings that donor countries are still giving through different mechanisms, including CAFE, to help preserve the forest. We want to send a clear message to the world that we appreciate this and let us protect the forest together. We need more money because there was a study recently published, I think 5 months ago, that says countries such as the DRC needs at least 500,000 millions a year to maintain the forest standing. But what we get so far is not that amount of money. We get very little, but we are ready with the very little we get to get the best results we can. And if we can have more resources, it means we will have more forest standing and more forest healthy and more community that will build the economy not around deforestation but around forest protection, around alternative of living and giving rest to the forest, leaving the forest alone to render the services that they are rendering to the world to fight against climate change.
Before you go, Dr. Malassi, how does the DRC intend to capitalize on this mechanism to achieve its vision of preserving forest cover and improving the living conditions of local communities?
I'm sorry, there is a lot of noise here. I did not follow your question.
Okay. Let me repeat my question.
Yeah, please.
How does the DRC intend to capitalize on this mechanism to achieve its vision of preserving forest cover and improving the living conditions of local communities?
Thank you. The payment will firstly address agriculture transformation. As I said, we already have a good experience with agroecology, the mixing of trees that yield fruits and the forest. Results are very good. We are going to continue the effort of improving our agriculture because you know our agriculture today is conducted through cutting down the trees. So we're going to have agriculture that will live and stand alone without touching the trees. That will develop through irrigation, that will develop in savanna areas, agriculture that won't destroy the forest. That's the first capitalization we want to do of this system because we also at the same time are conscious that money from outside is not going to flow every day, every year. There may be some times where money, where it comes from, also have problems. It may tarnish, it may dry up. So we want to transform our economy. That's why we have today a ministry, a delegate ministry in charge of the new climate economy. The country wants to reorganize its economy and to make its economy more adapted to climate change and more producing results of climate change. So that's the way we want to capitalize in this new system. We want to improve basic services that are on the forest, agriculture, energy, and alternative of social activities that the people they do and that they will be doing in the next years without touching the forest, without cutting down the forest.
Thank you very much for speaking with us, and we look forward to continue with this conversation. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. And this is my opportunity to thank everybody, to thank the government of the DRC, my government, for such an initiative, meaning that the word I've spoken, everybody's telling us, save the trees, save the forest, don't cut down. We say, yes, we hear. But now, the president of my country, Tshisekedi, has given to the world what we call a corridor, a green corridor, which is the biggest area, protected area in the world. As big as France, as big as some European countries. The size is 540,000 square kilometers, within which we have forests where no one has ever been. Then that are going to be protected for climate. And within that space, we are also going to have the payment for ecosystem or for environmental services. And this is another way of capitalizing this new strategy to build and to strengthen and to implement the green corridor from Kivu to Kinshasa project that is a gift of our president to the world for climate change. And thank you to Kafi, thank you to Voice of America, and thank you to all of us who benefit from the forests of the Congo Basin. Thank you for joining us in this big fight against climate change through protecting and preserving the forest.
Thank you. Thank you.